Hey guys, so it is morning and I figured I would show you guys my morning routine with Quincy and his G-tube and how we basically care for him. So first things first, I bring Quincy into his room and I have it already set up with everything that I'm gonna need. I usually start with changing his diaper first. After changing his diaper, I go on ahead and start removing the tubing that is connected to his G-tube as it needs to be flushed after every use. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. So I'm going to fast forward through this process of flushing his G-tube because it's a little bit tedious, takes a little bit of time, but all I did is fill a syringe with sterile water and I just take it and push all of that water through the tube, and you can't really see, but all the milk from the previous feed is just coming out into this bowl of water I have right here. After doing that, I make sure that I have clamped off the tubing and made sure that the tubing is filled with water, as you don't want to push air into his G-tube. So all I'm doing is attaching the tubing back onto the G-tube unit, and now we are ready to give him his medicines for the morning. So I'm going to fast forward through this part, but right now all I'm doing is administering 1 milliliter of his antacid. I'm using a 5 milliliter syringe and I'm just inserting that into the medicine port that he has, and then I flush it, and then I will be moving on to his next medicine. So what you see me using is some Enfamil sterile water. I'm just going to flush the line after administering his first drug, and then I'm going to go on ahead to that Poly-Vi-Sol and I give him 1 milliliter of that as well. So yeah, you just open up the little port, you insert it, and you can see the Poly-Vi-Sol go in, and then I clean it, and then I'm going to flush again with just some sterile water to get that, Poly-Vi-Sol kind of moving down. So now that we've administered his drugs, I usually go ahead and get him dressed now for the day. So right now I'm just undressing him, and I usually use this time where he's undressed to start cleaning around the G-tube. So I use a cotton swab with some sterile water and just wipe around it, and then I go ahead and apply gauze. As you can see, Quincy absolutely hates this part.
Are you fine now? Are you good? Because mommy got to keep doing it, and I need you to be good for the rest. Okay, got your little hit. Alright.
So now I'm going to start his moisturizing routine. Quincy has very dry, sensitive skin, so I'm just going to go in with some Aveeno baby lotion, and then I'm going to put that all over his body, and then follow it up with some Vaseline per his pediatrician recommendation, and we go over his whole entire body with this as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and get him dressed. I'm putting on a regular onesie. We usually like to put him in something that snaps in the front, so it gives us easier access to the G-tube and it's not having any extra pressure on the site. But today we're just going to put on a regular onesie because that's what we have more of. So now it's time for his 9 a.m. feed, so I'm just unhanging the bag from the night before, tossing that, and rehanging a new bag. You do this every 24 hours when you're using a enteral feeding system. So I'm going to skip through this part pretty fast as I'm not going to go too deep in this video on how to use a feeding pump, but I will be making a video on exactly how to use this feeding pump, and this feeding pump is an Enteralife Infinity, and we use this one for all of his feeds. So now I'm adding milk that I have pre-measured out for this feed, as well as an extra 20 milliliters, so I'm able to prime the line. We do this before every feed as we do not want to push any air into Quincy's stomach. So what you see me doing right now is just priming that line, pushing that milk all the way through the line, and then Once it reaches the tip, I will be able to hook Quincy up like so. You just open that top port and plug it in. Now that he's all hooked up, I'm just gonna go ahead and start that feed so he can eat. And just like that, we are dressed and ready to go for the day. Thank you all so much for watching our morning routine.